How you doing? My name is John for John's Woodworking. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your first tools that you'll probably use, the basic tools for beginners that you'll probably need for your shop. Let's get into it. Well, here are some of the basics. As you can hear, by the way, I have a generator running in the background because I do run in a storage unit. This is my shop. It's inside of a storage unit. So here are some of the basic tools that you'll need for woodworking. This is a great little tool right here. This makes sure that your blades are level. Easiest way to do it is to first put it on the table. Excuse the shaky film here. You put it on the table, you turn it on, you set it to 0, so that makes sure that your table's reading 0. Then you would put it on your blade, and it would tell you the degrees that it's in. It's pretty nifty, and it's magnetized, by the way, so there's a magnet on the bottom. You definitely need to know, what pitch your blade is at, and that's really important. I like digital items, digital equipment. It really makes the difference of whether, or actually makes the difference in accuracy, I believe. This is a digital protractor. Pretty interesting here. It has like a T-square on it. You can put this down on a piece of wood and then locate your angle, whatever degree it's at, or follow a line, and it'll tell you what degree that line is at. So maybe you can copy a line or an angle of a piece of wood or anything really. Very handy to have in the workshop. I couldn't tell you how many times I had to use one of these. The digital caliper. This is excellent tool to have. I certainly would recommend going out and buying one of these. This will be able to tell you'll be able to tell not only the thickness of something, maybe a piece of wood or whatever it is that you're measuring, a nut or whatever, but it also, two other things. It can tell you the width of a hole. Like you put this inside of a hole, and it'll tell you what the 2 points are, or what the measurement is. It'll tell you in inches and millimeters. But also, even yesterday I had to use this. This tells you the depth of maybe the hole that you're measuring. So not only will it do the width of the hole, but it'll also tell you the depth of how deep you need to go, maybe drilling. So very, very handy tool to have, indispensable basically. I would definitely purchase one of these if you're starting a little woodworking shop. And these are very inexpensive tools anybody could buy. And by the way, all the tools I'm showing you today, there will be a link below for you to purchase your tools if you need to, and they're all going to be put onto Amazon. These are all Amazon purchases, so you don't have to worry about going to some crazy site or anything. Alright, one of the best tools, and I'd say indispensable tools that I would get, and I know it's spelled backwards in the video here, but it's Kreg Jig. This tool right here makes pocket holes. This is the first one I've ever bought, and actually the only one I've ever bought, and I've been using it for a long time. But if I had to recommend a Kreg Jig one, it wouldn't be this one here. It would be probably the next model up, which I'll leave a link below. This type is great for maybe a homeowner or something like that, but if you got to do a lot of pocket holes, this one here is kind of a pain in the butt to use. I use clamps, and I clamp it down to my wood, and I'll drill a hole at that point and then unclamp it. If you got to do a lot of holes, trust me, go get one that has the actual locking mechanism that's actually on the Kreg Jig itself. Worth its weight in gold. I know it's about, I think it's like something like $80 or something like that on Amazon. But definitely worth it. And I think it might even have 3 holes, 3 different adjustments on it. This one here, they come apart, so you can use them individually if you'd like. The back here moves up and down for the depth of hole that you want to make. I use a piece of tape around this because they end up moving and sliding out of adjustment. So a lot of times I'll put a piece of tape around this, like electrical tape or duct tape or something like that. I a lot of times use them as the unit, just like this. I'll make 2 holes side by side like this for like tabletops and stuff like that when I really need a lot of power holding. So I'll use 2 screws at the same time, and that happens a lot. Thinner pieces, like on 2x2s, I might take the single piece off, or if I'm really lazy, I don't take it off at all. I might just clamp that one and just drill that one, and that's it. So I think I just kicked the camera. Sorry about that. The drill bit. This is the original drill bit that came with it, and a lot of times, see, I'm using an impact driver with it. So what I found is that it has a set screw right here, and it would get wedged onto the circular part here. So what I did was I shaved a flat area on this drill bit right here, which doesn't affect the drill bit at all, but it takes the set screw and puts it onto a flat surface, which stops it from this getting seized on, which I think was a pretty good way of fixing a problem. So the impact, I can use an impact on this drill bit now, and we'll get into what kind of impact wrench or impact driver I use in a minute. Also, if you don't want to purchase, these things wear out a lot, and if you don't want to purchase more and more of these bits, which I think the way that they designed this, I think that's what they wanted you to do. I don't know if you can see that. See if it focuses in right here. Come on now. Anyways, it's a square bit on the tip of this. It's square on there, and obviously that's not really the greatest design that you can have. I mean, I probably want to use a Torx or something like that, you know, star type shape, in order for it to not cam out. And camming out is when this comes out of the screw, and then it jumps and resets itself back in, and then jumps and then jumps and jumps out of the screw. And eventually what that does is it wears the tip out. So if you don't want that happening, you don't want to keep buying more and more of these bits, then go get yourself an impact driver. It'll save you a lot of hassle traveling back and forth to the hardware store. Not that these are very expensive anyways to replace, they're not. So that's it comes with another piece in here where it used with their locking jaw to clamp onto this. I never used it, actually. I think I lost it, and it comes with another set of screws. These are the original screws. I just buy boxes of screws, and big boxes of screws. So this is the kit. This is the basics that you get. And definitely another indispensable piece, and you're definitely going to probably use it if you're making pretty much anything, any joinery, unless you're going to really get into dovetailing and you know, mortise and tenon joining. If you're going to get into that, then you might not need this, but this is really great for a quick, easy joint. Very strong joint too. All right, next we got a drill and an impact driver. I know you can tell the difference right here. They look the same, but they're not. They're completely different. This is my drill that I use, or I use this for a lot of times until I got one of these things, and I'll tell you, whew, what a difference in my hand, you know, my wrist. Now I have a carpal tunnel with this sucker, trying to do all the drilling and screwing and everything, versus this tool right here. It's very small and compact, very powerful motor inside of here, very lightweight, very well balanced too, to have the, you know, I don't know what it is. It's not top heavy, it's not bottom heavy, it kind of sits right in between. It feels good in the hand. It's got a nice light on it. It's pretty bright. Light up your work surface pretty well, or whatever you're trying to screw. The tip here, I'm going to cover that light until it goes out. The tip here does not have a chuck that you're probably used to. It's a collar. It's a locking collar, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to take out the bits that I was showing you earlier. So you need this type of hex bit on the end, and then you can fit just about anything you want inside of there. So you just put it in like that, and it slips right in. In one-handed change, you can really, yeah, you can use one hand. Probably you're using two hands, but you know, you don't need to. One-handed change in and out, and it's done. It's pretty powerful. It's very, you can have it sensitive, you know, to the trigger pull. Let's see, that's the slowest it goes. That's the fastest. There's a little bit in between, and this is wobbling because I used it quite a bit. So this is not that straight, but it is a little loose inside of the chuck. Obviously, it goes in and out and stuff like that. So it's not as solid as the keyless chucks that you're used to probably on a drill bit. But I have to say, I like it like that, because if you need to get in some weird angle or whatever, you need that little extra flex. Well, I use it. You know, I like doing that. That's not a problem for me. What you get out of this tool is the cam action. Obviously, it's not doing the cam action right now because it's just pretty smart. It knows when it needs it and when it doesn't need it. I'll give you that example right now. Alright, so I got a piece of scrap wood, and I'll show you what camming, or that, not cam out, but the ratcheting impact is like. It doesn't need it at the beginning, so it doesn't do it. But if you listen, you'll hear it. That ratcheting noise, I mean, it came at the end of where the screw went all the way in. But if it doesn't need it, it won't screw it in, or it won't ratchet. So let me get a bigger screw, maybe that'll help. Alrighty, I started a screw for you, and obviously magically, you know, this appeared, and I had to clamp it down to the table a little bit because I didn't want this block turning. But listen for the, you'll hear the ratcheting sound that this makes, and through this big screw, because it's got to go through two pieces of wood. So, all right, here we go. So that ratcheting noise that you heard prevents this piece, this bit, from backing out of the screw. and in marring, you know, usually sometimes it cams out. If it cams out, you end up marring your wood, you know, that you do. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, and that's a pain in the butt, and then you got to start all over again, especially if it's like a tabletop or something. But this is great, you know, the ratcheting impact that you get off of this is awesome. So I'm going to back this out real quick, and then I'm going to put it back in with. There's a lot of power to this impact driver. It's excellent. You got to be careful though, because this one in particular doesn't know. This one in particular does not know when to stop. it'll if you're driving these into wood, it'll strip out the hole that you just made, and then it doesn't have any grabbing power at the end. So you got to learn how to listen for the different tones. But they do make a very smart one that has a panel on here it'll stop dead right where that, you know, right where the surface is that you're trying to drill into. Let me show you what I used to use, and man, I have never gone back to this. Never. What I'll tell you, this thing's a monster. I mean, it looks nice. This drill is an absolute monster. It's so heavy, and I got the small battery. There's a small battery in here. There's a bigger battery. Here's the bigger one that I used to use. You want, oops, there goes my screen. You want, if you want muscles, get the Ryobi. I'll tell you, you'll have muscles. All right, here we go. This is maybe, I don't know if it'll cam out or not, but this is what I used to use. There we go. Oh. So now I have it set on 18, which is ratcheting, and it stops right where it's supposed to. Ah, there we go. See how it just popped right out? And I'm putting force down on this, by the way. It just popped out, and I just literally made a mark in the wood. So that was all natural. That I didn't stage. I'm actually putting some force down onto it. With this one here, you don't have to put really hardly any force down on it. The camming action prevents it from coming out of the screw head, and you'll save money on buying less bits. So I definitely recommend getting an impact driver. I recommend Makita. I think I've done a lot of research on these, and I'll tell you what a great tool Makita's made. Also, I have the middle size battery. I think they have a 5-hour amp hour battery. I've gone like 6 hours just doing drilling and stuff like that on this battery. That's quite a bit of time. I wouldn't go any less. And I think some of them they come with a smaller battery, but these batteries are pretty expensive. I think this the main cost of this whole thing is the battery itself. But I'll leave a link for purchasing the batteries and also the whole system from Makita in the links below. Okay, lastly, I think a lot of woodworkers need to have basic tools like rounding things over or routing things out. A nice little tool to have is a handheld router, not a big honking router, but I think a cordless, small. This is so oh my god, you can use this in so many different ways. They have kits that you can put onto the base, which I don't have it set up for. You can put an edge guide On the side here, you could make dovetails with this. You can make all kinds of different joints with it. Very indispensable little product here. This one here is from Makita. It has a speed control on the side of it, which is pretty neat. I'll turn it on, and hopefully it's not too loud for you, so I'll turn it on right now. It is a little noisy, just to give you an idea. You might want to turn down your volume just a little bit. So it has a locking mechanism on here. You have to first press the unlock and then power on. Here we go. You see how it turns down? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Look how slow that goes. You can go all the way down to 1, and man, that thing is going very slow. You don't want to burn your wood? No problem. You want to go fast? There we go. What a little joy, I'll tell you, this tool is. You can adjust the depth. I'm not going to do it now because this is set right now for my needs. But what you would do is you would unclamp this, and on the side you have a little dial, and it has numbers that are, I don't know if you can see it or not, if the camera will pick it up. It has like little numbers on the side. You can tell how deep you're going. I usually, especially for a round over bit, which is what this is, I usually just eyeball it down the side of how deep I want to go, or I might even use my caliper that I showed you earlier. This tool right here, and this is where finding the depth of something might come in handy. Finding the depth of your wood first and seeing how deep you want to go there. You know, all kinds of different measuring tools, measuring options for that. In any case, to change out the bit, it has a little lock on the side. You can lock it in place. By the way, I'm touching this thing, and yes, I have the battery in, but I know it's not going to go on. There's a lock mechanism on here, and I don't know. There, now it's definitely not going to go on. But you can lock the bottom here, and inside here there's a nut. There, now it's locked. I have my finger on it, and then you can take a wrench and wrench that thing out. Which I would probably take this whole base here comes right off, and then you can have access to the inside. Anyways, this is a nice little tool by Makita. Again, I'm going to leave a link below for it, and I'm going to give you an example of how it works and show you. It's got a lot of power to it, and it's a lot of fun to use. So, oops, kick the camera again. There we go. Alright, warning, I'm going to turn this on now. It might be a little noisy. And yeah, it's got a nice little work light in there. I'll show you what I just did there. It wasn't a little round over. I don't know if you can see that either. Got a lot of light going on here. But that's a little round over. If it's got like a little bead on it right here, a little step down. You can either get rid of that by lowering or raising the bit, or if you want that more dramatic, you can show the bit a little bit more, and it'll dig down into the wood a little bit more. That was a nice little round over bit that I got in there, and it cleans up the wood very nice. There's no chip out or anything. Well, there you go. So that's the video I got for you today, and I just wanted to show you a few things, a few basic tools. We'll continue on the basic tool thing for a little while. I will set up another set of tools that I use in my shop. Obviously there's plenty more to go. Alright, Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe and tick the bell for notification. Thank you. Bye-bye.